Greetings, dear viewers. This is George from Ireland. Here I am in Mikhail Bulgakov's house in Moscow. So he was born in 1891 in Kiev to Russian parents, is then part of the Russian Empire. He was raised in Russian. He became a doctor. So many other Russian writers were physicians. So he was a modernist writer, and he wrote a lot of satire and absurdist work. He was on the white side in the Civil War, which could have got him into big trouble in the 1920s and 30s, because of course the Reds had won, the Bolsheviks, who then called themselves communists. Anyway, he lived here in Moscow in this communal apartment. It's quite big, the bit he had for himself, partly in testament of being so well regarded for a writer. It's partly why he was left alone, despite his political inclinations. One of his works is The White Guard, refers to the Civil War. He was a huge fan of Molière, the 17th century French satirical playwright, and in a sense he tried to imitate him. And Molière used to lampoon the Catholic Church, which was the ideological force in 17th century France, in his dramas. And actually Bulgakov was doing the same about those who espoused the prevailing ideology here in his time. And some of his work about Molière was really an allegory about the 1930s Soviet Union. So Bulgakov worked very closely with the theatre director Stanislavski. We're not far from the Moscow Arts Theatre. The Mask and Margarita is probably considered to be Bulgakov's most outstanding work, and the opening sequence of that is at Patriarski Prudi, which is only about a kilometre from here. Bulgakov was also very involved with the Moscow Arts Theatre, which is not far away, and his dear friend and collaborator Stanislavski lived on Leontievsky Lane, only about 2 kilometres from here. So you can see many personal effects belonging to Bulgakov here. And you can see his works have been translated to many languages, such as Hebrew, Dutch, Polish, and so forth. I'm just trying to think. Yes, he was married thrice. I'm not sure if he had children, though. What else about him? He was a smoker, like almost everyone else. He died in 1940. His alcohol abuse partly brought that on. But yeah, he was lucky to stay out of the Gulag, considering his political proclivities. And you can see a lot of furniture which belonged to him. Anything else really notable about him? Oh yes, the BBC, they turned one of his works into a film recently starring Daniel Radcliffe. Anyway, well worth a visit. It's very atmospheric, and there are plenty of items labelled, only in Russian I'm afraid. It's not very spacious, but that's the way it was. A little cafe, should you need refreshment, right here. And you can buy a few souvenirs, some fabulous metal statues outside for you to pose to preserve the moment. That's all for the moment from Mikhail Bulgakov's house.